100 bands in a celly, but I'm still shaking ass in a deli. We have some very important things to talk about. I feel high on life, high on possibilities. It's an immense feeling, you know? We need to talk about manifesting your life, building on what you desire, achieving your desired outcome, loving life, being more present within the body, being more present within the mind, allowing the mind to relax, calm down, and chill the fuck out. So with that being said, I really need to touch up with a new manifestation video so I can give y'all all the tea, all the details about how I've manifested my life, how you can manifest a better life, things that I've manifested. The last video I made like this was, honestly, bro, it has to be like 2 years ago now, because that was a while ago. And so many developments have happened within my plot. So yeah, I want to first give y'all a little rundown on all the things that I've manifested. I definitely don't give y'all a rundown of everything because that would just be too much to talk about. But to make a really quick list: my car, my house, my career, my travels, hosting retreats in foreign countries, financial freedom, great friendships, and beyond. In the way that I've shifted my reality so y'all can get some inspiration, because I personally love to hear people's manifestation success stories. And then we're gonna like jump into literally like my experience of what I've done, how I changed internally to change my external. For that, I want to remind y'all that I do have my next retreat coming, my next spiritual retreat. It is called A Serene Return to Self in Costa Rican paradise, and I know you want to come. So in late June of 2024, I and a handful of other beautiful beings will be making a trip to Guanacaste, Costa Rica, and it's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited. We're gonna go on a boat tour to see some amazing wildlife. There's also going to be horseback riding. Oh yes, there's gonna be some waterfalls. I'm also going to be hosting a handful of workshops. So excited. I'm gonna bring so many goodies for those workshops. It's just been a very intense moment of healing, and I'm so excited to be able to be returning it and bringing it to more people in a new location filled with hella different possibilities. It's gonna be so exciting. So I'd love if y'all could come. If y'all didn't see the video of my first retreat that I held in Morocco, definitely check that out. A very fun experience, and would give you some insight on the crazy fun that we're about to jump into in Costa Rica. There are payment plans available, and the link is in the description. But let's start talking about manifestation. Where do I begin? Where do I begin? I first am going to talk about some crazy experiences I've had. I feel like manifestation and synchronicity goes hand in hand, because once you start to really notice synchronicity within your life, you realize just how deeply tapped into spirit you are. An example of a very big manifestation that I have recently attained is rhythmia. Rhythmia was a manifestation in the highest form, like literally one of the craziest embodiment of me being aligned that I've ever freaking experienced. So if you don't know, Rhythmia is a life advancement retreat center. I made a whole video about it. They also do herbal support therapy, which basically means ayahuasca. They have ayahuasca ceremonies, and it's been a very big goal of mine for a very long time to oh, I think that package is for me. Oh yes, I know exactly what that package is. That package is some product from Schedule 35. Okay, but regardless, manifesting just gets me so excited. Look at that. That's another example of manifestation right there. Y'all know how many mushroom companies have been reaching out to me to work, and it's just been such a divine process of becoming. Like, I am just so grateful for the life I live. Literally, bro, my life is literally 11 out of 10. It's so beautiful to be so in love with the present moment. Like, there's nothing else that I could really ask for, you know? Like, I remember being young and like subconsciously fighting to be in love with the present moment, like always kind of aspiring to know and to see and to create my future reality, which is this, and for it to just now be a very big shift, because of course I visualize, I think about the future, I dream about the future, things of that sort, but now it's so different to really embody the future. It's different to step so deeply into your purpose and into your being, and to know exactly who you are at your core, because the whole world shifts around you once you do. All the talking I did in this video only to forget to tell y'all something very crazy that happened to me. Do y'all remember that video on TikTok that went viral and people were using it for manifestation purposes? And it was the song, and it was like, debt, 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 all debt is paid. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All of my debt is paid. I came back from Costa Rica and a miracle happened. My car is fully mine. My girl Sacral, another shawty that I manifested. My car's all mine. My insurance is paid for a whole year, and all of my credit card debt is paid. I don't know if I said this in the ayahuasca video, but on the last night of the ceremony, I had a visualization or I had an experience with Mother Ayahuasca, where she took me to the bottom of the ocean, and there was a anchor attached to like a giant ship at the top of the water. And instead of it being like a traditional anchor, it was a giant bag of money. It was a giant bag of money. And she didn't even need to say anything. I already knew what to do. I knew that I was the ship, like symbolically, the ship was me, and that I was literally in a sea of doubt. And I knew that I had to break the chain and literally to release money, because money had been an issue for me my whole life, especially growing up under certain circumstances, single mother household, living paycheck to paycheck, rare child support checks. I just wanted to share that blessing with y'all. I've been over the moon about it. Like literally, bro, over the moon. It's like, damn, all of the money that I make is mine now, and I don't have to worry about extending it in other areas. So let me just get into my notebook of what I wanted to say. So I have here some notes that I wrote first thing in the morning on August 14th about this video, because it had been on my mind. The dark divine feminine energy. I got very certain about who I am. Put down the masculine energy and learned how to just sit with self. Understood who I was and what I wanted. Connected with divine women who knew what was up as well. The way I wrote this is very funny. I'll explain shortly. Evaluated how they conduct themselves, bridged the gap between who I am and what I know I need to know. That was important as well. So the first thing is, I had to really understand and establish who I was in a moment of time. And for me, this kicked off, I remember I've always been very tapped into self, but there have been certain areas of my life honestly, these areas of my life have been right before immense transition took place. But I can read to y'all one of the things that I actually wrote about myself. I honestly think this was in October of last year. I had a meeting with a millionaire, and basically this is what he told me to do. He told me to get very clear on who I was. I am Trinity, Gemini loudmouth poet who speaks first and thinks later. I am funny as fuck and love holding conversations and engaging with others. I am a healer by nature and have always found the most unique ways to express myself. I am colorful in every aspect of my life. My clothes, my energy, my voice, my aesthetic, my car, my tattoos. I am traveler, vagabond by nature, being of earth and the cosmos, divine interpreter of duality and all things symbolic by nature. I am La Loba, the divine feminine, creator of community and fierce as fuck when woman scorned. I gave birth to my ancestors' wildest dreams and heed the trajectory of my next lifetime. I am the creator of my own reality and powerful as fuck, and the word fuck does not even equate to how powerful I am. It is more like a word unspoken in modern language, something only communicated by God and the sound of nature that man has not pillaged. I am Trinity. Very powerful excerpt or bio. Actually, that's actually the bio for my poetry book, Brown Girl Almighty, when that does launch. But I'm saying this to say that it's very important to understand yourself deeply, because many of us have lived lives where we've tended to other people, or we've just allowed ourselves to get lost in something that is not in alignment with us vibrationally, whether it just be like substances or alcohol or media. It could be like you're drowning in video games. It really takes a certain kind of strength within self, and everybody has this, to really understand self. You really have to desire to want to know who you are at your core, because once you know who you, this is like, it's like entering a job. You can't just go into the job and excel. You got to learn how to navigate that job. You got to learn how to navigate your vehicle. This physical body that we are in for such a temporary time, you need to understand what exactly you plan. Let me not get too up there for y'all. You need to understand who you are. For me, self has always been so important for me because I am a Gemini sun in my first house. So first house is the house of self, personality, things of that sort. And I've always just been very bold and very expressive. So it was important for me to understand why, to understand how, to understand what exactly that means for me and how I should navigate this world, because people are going to try to deter you from self a lot. People are going to try to deter you from self, and it's important that you don't get away from that. Or if you do, which I mean, it's understandable if you do, and it's not your fault if you do, but once you realize that you need to come back to self, you put in the work to do that. And the dark divine feminine energy aspect of all of this is left side of your body feminine, right side is masculine. So, and this is like this for everybody, but femininity talks about receiving. It's on the receiving end of everything. The masculine talks about action. Masculine, action, feminine, receiving. And it's a very important thing to navigate, because we live in such a materialistic world that has put us on a hamster wheel. Like, y'all, we're literally running a show for capitalism, big business, demons dressed in tailored suits, things of that sort. So it's important for us to relax this side, relax all of that, and actually learn how to nurture a whole nother part of ourselves that we weren't taught to nurture. I could talk about divine feminine energy for days. And for me, this was just an important aspect of my personal journey. All of this stuff that I'm telling y'all is this is how I did it. You know, you might be very well leaning into your feminine energy, and you need to figure out, you know, other ways. Or maybe your manifestation is you leaning into your masculine energy. You know, maybe you got to get more acquainted with that. It's different for everybody. So after you understand who it is that you are at your core, you then have to be truthfully honest about what it is that you want in this life. Because it's very interesting how to get the things that you want, many times it takes sacrifice. We have to breathe through sacrifice. We have to breathe through pain. We have to breathe through loss, but, or surrender, even more so important. Oh, here's something that was also important. Connecting with divine women. Divine women were able to show me exactly how I wanted to show up. And like people, like, I don't know, you can find like yoga instructors or whoever it is. You can find inspiration in the people doing what it is that you want to do, or being the way that you want to like embody within, and build closer connection with them, build intimate relation with them, and take note. Literally, like, I take note from the women in my life. And they my age, you know. I learn from sisters, I learn from sisterhood, I learn from community, I learn from divine women showing up in their power and understanding that, like, I am a force and I create my own reality. And then last thing I wanted to specify, evaluated how they could bridge the gap between who I am and what I need to know. Education is so important. Education is so important. And that's actually the next thing I'm going to talk about. I'll just read directly from here. Reading Women Who Run with the Wolves, learning human design and astrology, obeying the planets, and allowing life to just life. Let me just stop right there. So when it came for me to consume knowledge, of course, I feel like through knowledge is where leveling up happens. Like you can't, like I said, you can't just go into a job and excel at it. You gotta learn how to do the ropes. And yo, I was watching the Midnight Gospel the other day, and they gave a great quote. The quote said, "Health is about accepting and perceiving and dealing with reality on reality's terms." Health is about accepting, perceiving, and dealing with reality on reality's terms. And that makes so much sense, because it's like, regardless, life is going to life. Planets are going to initiate certain transitions within the energy of the earth. Like, Mercury is going to retrograde. Venus is going to retrograde. Saturn is going to retrograde. We have no control over that. To be healthy, to navigate Earth, to manifest your desires, we must consume knowledge. So with this foundation we have of who we are and what we want, we figure out how it is that we have to get there. For me, it was through the use of divine feminine energy. Therefore, a very important book for me in my journey that I'll forever talk about, Women Who Run with the Wolves, is the book that I will always lean on. I think that book is rated E for everyone of all ages. I love short stories, and I think more importantly, what this is saying about me is that I love to hear about important life lessons that women have learned through tales. And because if you don't know, that book is about ancient stories just spoken by mouth that certain lineages have had. And Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She just combined them all into this book of short stories where she expands on the meanings of each story. And these stories are thick with literature. These stories are thick with life lessons. So for me, that was a very good way to understand how to, what I can take with me on my next journey, like how I can change certain aspects of thinking, or how I can move more smartly within the world, how I can strengthen my intuition. That's what that book taught me. That book taught me to strengthen my intuition. That shit was so nail on the head. I also included human design and astrology. For me, I have currently, since I came back from Costa Rica, I have been living my days in accordance to the planets that operate each day. So I'm gonna break it down. Sunday is the sun. Monday is the moon, talks about emotions, things of that sort. Tuesday is Mars, action. Wednesday is Mercury, communication. Thursday is Jupiter. I just think of Jupiter as like luck and abundance. I gotta look more into that one, because I'm very versed on all of them but that one. Friday, Venus, sensual energy, good day for beauty routines, doing your hair, getting your lashes done, getting your nails done. Things are just gonna turn out better on that day. Saturday is Saturn, so that's a day you run errands. Saturn is all about discipline, things of that sort, and then there's Sunday again. So with that being said, now for me, knowing that is important, because it's like, I know on certain days it'll be easier for me to, let's say, have a meeting with a new brand to talk about things. I always schedule my meetings for Wednesday, because Wednesday is the day of Mercury, which is the planet of communication. Things are just probably going to flow a lot easier on a Wednesday. It's intuition and energy. I think those are some very great things you'll be able to take away from this video for sure. Intuition and energy, because you can understand how to navigate life through the energy of the planet around you. Like literally, we are in constant like communication with nature. We are so deeply connected to Gaia. We are so deeply connected to our solar system, and we weren't really taught about it. So no one really knows how to utilize that to the best of their ability, but that's why you consume knowledge. I'll put an Amazon link for all the books that I've recommended, because I have a little link on Amazon that'll help y'all with that. This is what I say do. Go to your nearest metaphysical / bookstore. There's one in Atlanta. It's called Phoenix and Dragon Bookstore. It's my favorite metaphysical shop in Atlanta. It's a big bookstore. That's why I love it. They have so many different types of books. You know, think about what it is that you're interested in, because you're interested in it for a reason. Next thing to discuss is implementation. Implementing is a great aspect of this journey, because now we're taking everything we've learned and we're incorporating it into our life for the betterment. The work that was done involves shadow work, a whole lot of journaling, and just learning as much about self as possible. Yoga, breath work, masturbation, the erotic expression of self is a practice. I found people I admire and took note from them. Mirror work, being honest about my sexual desires and desires for sexual expression, visualizing. So these are just some of the things that were most important to me on this journey. Like I said from the beginning, get an understanding of who you are, but it's even more important to like implement who you are, like implementing the love that you have for self. Like, be willing to put your reputation on the line if it means your health spiritually and physically, mentally, emotionally. I can be as stingy and selfish, some people might say, as I want when it comes to the betterment of myself. I can't help you without helping myself first. And honestly, y'all, through understanding and through helping self, I have just been able to see so transparently through so many people. Honestly, bro, do you remember that? I talk so much about Adventure Time. Leave the wizard emoji down below if you know what Adventure Time reference I'm about to make. But there was an episode of Adventure Time where Finn, he had these like crystal blue balls for eyes, and every time he looked at somebody and he'd interact with them, the magic eyes would turn them into whatever he envisioned them as. So when he looked at Princess Bubblegum, she turned into like a teenage boy heartthrob, like baggy cut off jean shorts, oversized tee, snap back on, hair pulled back type vibe. When he looked at Jake, he turned into like a brother figure, like a older jock brother figure with a Letterman jacket on and cool hair. It was funny because it's like he could see them as they showed up in his life. And some people need that type of, some people need to look at the people in their life with that type of transparency. Because it's like, bruh, your family could be holding you back. I'm gonna just be, that's speaking to somebody. Somebody just like, oh, this bitch speaking to me. I don't know who you are. But your family could be holding you back. This is your sign. Your boyfriend could be holding you back. Your stepdad could be, your employer is holding you back. And many times we have a hard time just accepting and acknowledging that. And a lot of times we allow fear to dictate our lives. We don't really understand how much fear is entangled within the way we navigate and the way we believe things, because it's like you might be putting up with a certain type of energy because you feel obligated. And where's that obligation coming from? It's coming from fear. Because you're afraid to step out on your own and maybe make your small business into a huge success. That might be the manifestation, but you might be afraid to take some steps to get there. Step one might be quitting. So the things that I also listed were just literally the physical acts of stuff that I was doing. So shadow work was just so important to me because, like I said in my ayahuasca video, a lot of the things that I think, the majority of things, 95% of the things that I encountered during that experience was things that I already knew about. So like money problems, sexual assault, shitty relationships with my parents, things of that sort. Like I already knew, and I was really ready to confront those types of things. Yeah, and for me, my sexual expression has just been a very important part of my identity, and it was important for me to not hide from it anymore, because I spent a long time like hiding from it, when it's like, bitch, you really want to be on the cover of Playboy. Let's just be honest. You really want to be on the cover of Playboy. Like you'd really like to be a video vixen. Like you'd really like to have your ass out on camera. Like, let's just be honest, you know? Oh, and if you like need to better your confidence, man, woman, they, them, non-binary, alien from Mars, I don't give a fuck who you are. Mirror work, oh my God, mirror work is just so good. Like just getting in the mirror and just dancing and just being sensual and just loving the body, just speaking life into the body, burning some sage, playing some Erykah Badu, maybe some Solange. Ooh, speaking of, if you got Apple Music, I'm sorry for my Spotify shawties, I don't got you right now, but if you got Apple Music, I got a playlist called Nurturing My Feminine, my favorite playlist. I listen to that whole every day, and I'd love for y'all to listen to it. I'll leave a link for it in the description, but great playlist. That's literally what I made to harness my feminine energy, the energy that we all embody. And lastly, visualization. I feel like y'all maybe have waiting for me to say, like, bitch, when are you gonna talk about this? I have historically been one to manifest my reality through the use of visualization. I'm trying to think from the perspective of somebody who might struggle with visualization. I'd love to ask why, but by the time this video comes out, I won't have an answer from somebody who struggles with that. But I would imagine that perhaps an issue could be believing in it. Like believing that that is achievable. And honestly, that don't really matter. That don't really matter. I think that like inside of our brains is where we should feel safe. Inside of our thoughts is where we should feel safe. We shouldn't be judging ourselves. You know, we shouldn't be scrutinizing ourselves. And if you are, that might not be your voice. Many times we, oh my God, I was talking about this in, what video did I do where I was outside? I'll put it somewhere on the screen, but I was talking about this in that video that Bell Hooks, in her book Communion, she was saying how like her whole life she had been the black sheep of her family, she had been the feminist, she had been the one with the big opinions, fighting the patriarchy in her family household, things of that sort. When she went off to college, she realized that like she then had to deal with the overseers in her mind, is what she said. And those were the voices in her mind telling her what an educated woman won't make for a good wife, and like a sexually expressive woman will never get a husband, things of that sort. And she had to be like, wait, these are not my fucking thoughts. These aren't my thoughts. These are my father's thoughts. These are my mom's thoughts. That stuff had embedded itself into her subconscious, into her ego, and her ego is just trying to keep her safe. So I think another question, you know, that you now ask is, how do you differentiate between your ego and your intuition? For me, my ego is actually, instead of telling you what my ego is, let me tell you what my intuition is. My intuition doesn't come through like a thought, like how you think, oh, today is going to be sunny, thinking. My intuition comes through like, turn left. Like, it's not really a thought. It's just a knowing. It's a knowing with words. It's like a whisper. Like, I don't know how to explain. It's just like a whisper. And it comes through calm. And my intuition does not repeat itself. My intuition does not repeat itself. Yeah, if she just comes through when she comes through, she says what she needs to say, and that's it. Because it's like, bitch, you heard me. I know you heard me. I know you heard me. Are you going to listen to me? I will not beg for your attention. And that is divine feminine energy. I'm going to say what I have to say it one time. If you get it, you get it. And if you don't, goodbye. So the last thing that I wanted to discuss with you all is becoming, being, embodying. I just am is what I wrote. When all my learning and practice has embedded itself into my being, I know I live the coolest life ever. I know I am one of the most interesting people you'll ever meet. I know you like me, and if you don't, it's because you don't like yourself yet. However, I am not fazed by any liking or disliking that takes place. It's so funny how I wrote that. There's a certain energy that comes when you embrace certainty. When you show up in a room knowing exactly who you are, it's just a coolness. It's just an energy, bro. And y'all know exactly what I mean. Once you accept who you are, you will embody a unique kind of energy that you've never embodied before that draws people to you like a magnet, like flies on shit, like white on rice. It just is. It just happens. There's nothing else. See, and that's the type of thing that I can only I can't show you how that feels. Like, you just feel it. And I gotta stop getting irritated. I don't even know why I get irritated about this still. I'm gonna just get over it. Whenever I go out in public, I know people are looking at me. People are looking at me all the time. Of course, it'd be men a lot of the time. But people are looking at me. Like, I need to get my aura photographed again. But here's a scientific fact, and I might quote this wrong, but if I do, you could read The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. But we have our energetic body, I'll say, or our auras reach out very far, up to like 50 fucking feet, I think is what he said in that book. Our energy is felt. It is felt. And that's something that you could think about when it comes to educating yourself. But we make a stance. Like, you enter a room, people feel you. And once you feel you, there's no doubt about it that other people feel your energy. It's a magnet. It's something important. It's something to be amplified. It is something to honor and to use as a superpower. We all have superpowers. Isn't that so fucking cool? Like, we sit here and watch Stranger Things. Shawty just learned to tap into that stuff. All of that stuff is real. Like, MK Ultra, all that stuff is real. Like, and we just look at it as a fantasy, but it's not. Like, we have so much power within. To be human is to be powerful. To have a body on this plane means that you are strong as fuck. Like, there's a line waiting to get to Earth to learn these lessons. You're here for a reason. You're here for a reason. You're here for a reason. Everything is up to you. We're so strong in these bodies, bro, for real. And we're not taught it. You know, I was listening to Jay Shetty. I was going to say Dr. Jay Shetty. And on one of his podcast episodes, he was talking about how he went to become a monk and at monk school. But he said when he first got there, he had come across this little kid. I think he was like 9 maybe, and he had like a handful of other cute little baby boys with him, and he was like, Jay Shetty was like, what are you teaching them? He was teaching the little boys something, and he was like, we're teaching them how to breathe. We're teaching them how to breathe. Like, and I'm like, damn, they throw us in kindergarten, and they're like, here's 2 + 2. Like, no. Don't be mindful. Do some numbers. Like, what the fuck? Like, here's a chart for you to do some symmetry on. Like, nigga, fuck y'all. How you gonna teach geometry? You ain't even teaching sacred geometry. You ain't even telling me about the flower of life. You ain't even telling me about the yin yang. You ain't even telling me about how powerful a sphere is. You're not even telling me about the fact that I am a sphere. Such a fucking funny word. For me, I love triangles. The trinity, the tri, the 3, the importance of numbers in that manner, you know? So much knowledge all around you. So I hope this was helpful. I actually love how this was not a very step-by-step guide, because I feel like you can find those everywhere. This was very personal testimony to how I've manifested and how you can manifest. So closing out, I want you guys to comment the rainbow emoji. Comment the rainbow emoji if you stayed to this part of the video. Tell me about a time that you've manifested something very intense, something very life-changing, and tell me about a synchronicity. Yes, tell me about a synchronicity. I love hearing about synchronicities. Those are so fun. Those are just a little giggle from the universe. I'll end by telling y'all some books that I recommend you read. Women Who Run with the Wolves, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, anything by Dr. Brian Weiss. I'd recommend starting off with Many Lives, Many Masters. I've only read one Bell Hooks book. What My Mother and I Don't Talk About is the last book that I'll recommend to y'all. Very good way to start looking at childhood trauma, motherhood wounds, things of that sort, and to tap into how you really feel about your relationship with the rents. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, please fill up your spot to come to my Costa Rica retreat. We got a little group chat on Instagram. We're about to start getting on group calls to get to know each other a little better. I'm so excited. It's going to be so fun. And it's going to come sooner than you think. There are payment plans available as well. So definitely check that out if you are interested. Even if you're not interested, go click that link. You might become interested. Anyways, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, like, subscribe, same as always. And you guys will see me in the next video.
Back on Earth, trying to wreak some havoc. Dang, that was crazy. What just happened? I've done it millions of times, but nothing millions of times. I guess that's where when we die. But I'm back as an indigo, back in the density, back to the days of 3, back to the days of me, back to the days where we